first.
2-0 live
Getting hot.
Tube.
Getting dangerously hot.
Yeah, down the stretch we're going to play spoiler.
Like the New York Jets.
Don't call it a comeback, but we're.
I won't call it a comeback.
We've now got a 2-game win streak.
Okay.
Poor stupid
2-7.
Dev.
Bad showing from Stupid Dev, who
Bad
I have a
showing.
lot of faith in most weeks.
Shameful.
Stupid Dev has a great team, just not this week. It's
No.
not against me.
You don't want to
We're
run
into the
into
juggernaut. We got red hot. We're getting hot at the right time.
Don't you have Jaden Daniels?
Yes, that is there's that.
But he has Matthew Stafford, who
I have
might be
Matthew Stafford on
the
the bench.
MVP of the league.
Yeah.
And Drake May.
And Drake May.
How is this team so bad?
Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. Happy trade deadline day across the NFL. We already got one in the bag. Jakobi Meyers is going to Jacksonville. Well, all of us do.
Yeah, of course.
Very
we all
excited.
Do. We all do.
We'll
So
see if
sorry,
the
I
Commanders
interrupted
and
you.
Jets offload whatever they have.
Yeah, exactly. I will pay people to take Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh, no.
If there's any NFL team watching, what can I give you to take Marshawn Lattimore off the Commanders? But in the meantime, here's a trade that did happen. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. A surprise. I love when a tweet starts with that. The Raiders are, in fact, dealing wide. I'm not really surprised. Are, in fact, dealing wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. All he's been asking for is to go anywhere else. To the Jaguars, per me, that's Ian Rappaport. It's a 4th and a 6th for Meyers. A few months after his initial request to be traded, Meyers is dealt. So we're going to have a ton more on this later because we're going to be talking about another Jacksonville wide receiver because it's Waiver Wire Day. We're here to help you out. We're recapping Monday Night Football. Marvin Harrison Jr. with the big night after some big words from Senior. And we'll look at the early lines as we always do on Tuesday for our Week 10 best bets. But let's waste no time. Let's get into the quarterbacks because there's a good chance you need some help this week because of the bye weeks. It's not fun. Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Joe Flacco, and Cam Ward all have buys right now. If you are on Superflex, there's a good chance you're hurting. Even if you're in a redraft standard one quarterback league, missing Mahomes and Dak is tough. So with that, Matthew, we start with Sam Darnold, who we talk about almost every week. 50% available. Was this finally the week that is going to get him under that threshold?
I mean, in fairness to the people that have ignored Sam Darnold, he's not going to play the Commanders secondary every single week. It gets a little bit tougher. He's got Arizona at home, a suddenly red-hot Cardinals defense. Then he's at the Rams, then at Tennessee. So the schedule's, and a homecoming with Minnesota in 4 weeks. So the schedule doesn't get a lot easier. Having said that, he's played phenomenal. He was on the love list previously last week. I feel like we've talked about him every single week about how good he has been in this offense, in this Clint Kubiak offense. 20 or more fantasy points in 3 of the past 4 games since week 2. He's the 11th best quarterback in fantasy football, Jay. He's available in 50% of leagues he shouldn't be.
Yeah, he's an interesting one because I do think some of it is that he's torched some bad defenses like the Bucs as well. He had that huge game there. They don't have a great pass defense. His game against the Texans, which is the most elite defense he's faced, was shaky. He's 17-31, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But the thing is that he just looks so much better. And and I get that it's an easy defense of the Commanders, but these throws weren't like easy defense throws, right? Like he is lasering it in there. And I think that people think that the Seahawks are this running team, but they're not really a running team. They don't run the ball that effectively. As Greg Olsen tweeted about, like they're a passing team out of heavy personnel, basically heavy formations. Like that's what they do.
They run to set up the pass. Like when they do run, it's basically to set up the pass. He leads all quarterbacks in average up the target and yards per pass attempt. Now, some of that is because he's got so many guys that are so good after the catch. You know, when you're throwing an 8-yard slant to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and then he runs 40 yards, like it counts as a 48-yard pass for Sam Darnold. All that said, though, Connor, this is a wildly different quarterback than what we saw with the Jets, and I would argue he's better now than he was with Minnesota last year.
I think he's wildly different to the guy from Minnesota
I
last
agree.
year.
Yeah, I think he's significantly better. Johnny Dangerly weighs in. Time to drop JD5 for Darnold, LOL.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But the context we're talking about, I mean, like he's a matchup-based quarterback in fantasy, but he's a streaming quarterback. So he has high upside in those matchups.
Statistically, Sam Darnold's been the best quarterback in football this year on a per-play basis. Like he's number 1 in EPA per play. He's number 1 in PFF grade. And he's second in QBR. He's second in completion percentage over expectation. Like he's just been an absolute monster. The question is that how much will they throw the ball? Because they do have a low pass rate over expectation. But I think Darnold has just been so good. And the matchup against Arizona, who were great defensively last night against the previously famously high-flying Cowboys offense, but I don't know, I feel pretty good about starting Darnold each week. Like, he's starting to really accumulate touchdown passes.
Yeah, and honestly, by the way, I mean, we weren't really getting to the joke section. Johnny Dangerously probably joking a little bit, but I cannot imagine a scenario where Jaden Daniels plays this season. I haven't seen any news about, like, quote-unquote, the prognosis of when he returns.
Right.
But I can't imagine the Commanders are anywhere close to contending if and when Daniels would be cleared to play again this year.
Yeah.
They're going to shut him down. So
He's
whether
the
it's a season-ending injury or it's just like, well, it's a 2-month thing and, he'll come back if they're in playoff contention, they're not going to be in playoff contention. Like, it's a lost season for Washington. So we love you, Five, but, yeah. He will be available tomorrow morning in our league. He's my quarterback in our league, and so he will be available. I will not be able to pick up Marcus Mariota because stupid Dev has him. Stupid Dev's been carrying Marcus Mariota for whatever reason for the last,
What's with the
month.
Pirate? What's with the Pirates say?
It's stupid Dev once again. He tried to screw me on the tight ends in year one.
He's a little bit of a thorn in your side.
He's a little bit, but every week every year I get the best. Even me, even down. Even even in my weakened state, I was
king
still
without
able,
a crown.
Yeah,
Yes.
He's your bunny. I don't think you guys say that in America. In Australia or in cricket, if you get the same guy out over and over again, he's your bunny. Like Darryl Cullinan was Shane Warne's bunny. Anyway, so if you own someone,
I like
you're
that quick move on from that.
Yeah, it's like Josh Allen, apparently not in the regular season, but he's Patrick Mahomes' bunny in the postseason. It's just what we say. It's nothing bad about that.
No, I just.
That's allowed. There's play on. No flags on that play.
Sure. No, there's a lot of jokes running through my head, and I'm trying to decide which ones of them I can get away with.
Your bunny.
That's fine. But yeah, stupid Dev is my bunny.
Yes,
sure.
he is your bunny.
I don't like this. I don't like this addition to the show.
it's fine.
No, this is
Year 4, we didn't need this.
this is heading into dangerous territory. Either way,
Yes.
go out and pick Sam Darnold if you need a quarterback, and he's still available in your league if you're in one of the 50% of leagues that he is out there.
Another player, and you might be desperate this week. J.J. McCarthy is 71% available. He's got the Ravens. This is a game that, in theory, you would think there's going to be a lot of points. This is an interesting one because McCarthy had touchdown production last week, despite only completing 14 passes.
Yep.
It was a little bit of a rocky road, but in fantasy, you take the touchdowns. I think more importantly, Matthew, you just hope for the running.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's played 3 games. He's had a rushing touchdown in 2 of them, and so more mobile than I think he probably got credit for coming out of college. If he qualified, again, he's only played the 3 games, right? But he would rank top 3 in the NFL in terms of average depth of target and deep ball rate this season if he qualified. So there you go. Kneecaps are intact, says J.J. McCarthy, despite this weird angle. I guess this is on the gram. From J.J. McCarthy.
And he wasn't done there.
No.
We got to hear from a very emotional J.J. McCarthy
Yep.
on the big win of the weekend.
It was awesome. Yeah, just when you're hurt, being on IR last year and being out for 5 weeks, it absolutely kills me not being out there with those guys because I love every single one of them. And, I know they got my back and I got theirs the rest of the way.
Here's the next-gen stats passing chart for J.J. McCarthy, kind of all over the place, which is a good sign, throwing the ball, a lot of different areas of the field, but not throwing the ball a lot, I think, is the problem right now, Matthew. This is a team that wants to run the ball as much as they can, I think, to protect him.
He's averaging 22 pass attempts per game this season.
Very low.
22, very, very low. Again, all small sample size. He's only played the 3 games, but the fact is that they've wanted to protect him a little bit. They've wanted to run the ball. By the way, they generally play good defense. I know they've had a couple of missteps there, but when their defense is healthy, they generally play good defense. They shut down Detroit's previously high-flying offense. So I do think McCarthy, in a game against the Ravens here, with a 48.5 over-under, we expect some fireworks here. Ravens defense is a little bit healthier, but still, not impenetrable. And we certainly expect Lamar to be able to put points up wherever he goes.
Yep, agreed. Very penetrable defense.
Yes.
How happy is J.J. McCarthy going to be if he wins the Super Bowl? Jeez, he's very
Lots of
emotional.
words after that win.
Yeah. Week 9.
It's kind of like a movie quarterback.
Yeah, he
J.J.
is. He is
McCarthy.
very cinematic.
Yes, there you go.
He does feel like
He's been casted,
right.
He's a Remember the Titans character.
There
basically.
you go. Yeah, more aligned to that.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
I could see him in the back. Him and the other quarterback are vying for the girl. And there's a triangle
there's a
there.
big storyline.
He's
here.
the guy who comes in to displace Matt Saracen after
Yeah.
Matt Saracen has a bad couple of weeks. With JJ, look, I don't think what he's done so far has been particularly good question from Ved. Need QB help with Dak on by Danny Dimes or Caleb or JJ McCarthy or Mariota
a lot of options
this week?
The buffet.
That is a lot of options. Okay, so let's break it down. Daniel Dimes is at home against the Colts. Caleb Williams.
Daniel Dimes plays for the Colts.
Against the Falcons.
He's in Berlin. That's where that game is, against the Falcons, the international game, the early one on Sunday.
Right, so he's against the Falcons. Sorry, they're the home team, but you're right. That game is overseas. McCarthy is playing the Ravens, as we just talked about here. Let's see. Caleb Williams is playing. Who's Chicago playing?
The Giants.
The Giants.
In Chicago.
Might be him. And then of course Washington at home to Detroit. To me, it's Mariota or Caleb Williams. To be honest with you.
Wow.
I'm starting Daniel Jones.
Wow, DJ, you're out on him.
Here's my anti-Caleb argument.
Here's the thing. I think the Falcons have a very good secondary. I think I think you can run on them. So I think this is a big Jonathan Taylor game. Those those overseas games, the international games, always get weird for me.
I just say, Shane Steichen, if you're watching the show, which you probably are, I get that they keep on doing these play-action passes early on in the game because everyone expects Taylor to get the ball and then it's Daniel Jones. So let's just give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 30 times this game. Let's see the Falcons' defensive line stop Jonathan Taylor. I just want him to get 30 carries. No more Daniel Jones in the first quarter show. But I think that just because of the...
It might be Mariota. Again, we'll see if McLaurin is back, but that's an
Mariota.
over-under. No, it's a 49.5 over-under. I'm dead. It's not like Detroit's defense scare you. Certainly their secondary isn't. Mariota's put up points every time he's started this week.
That'd be third for
this
me,
year,
Mariota.
I would say. For me...
Me too.
Listen, what?
I would have it Daniel Jones,
Caleb,
Mariota, McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm McCarthy.
My anti-Caleb argument is the Giants' run defense has been dreadful. And Ben Johnson's just going to be like, cool, we're going to do this all day.
I'm going to say...
you could argue that for the Colts, too.
I'm going to say Mariota. I haven't done my projections yet, but off the top of my head, I would say Mariota, Jones, Caleb. No, I might swap Caleb and Danny Dimes. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Maybe question of the year, Ved. Maybe question of the year.
Yeah. We all agree J.J. McCarthy is fourth.
We're 1 week removed from Daniel Jones stewarding the greatest offense of all time and just piling up touchdowns. And he gets the 1-yard touchdown against the Steelers as well. I think Daniel Jones is he's the guy. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. Will you give me Caleb Williams? Will you give me the
anything.
field? No, will you give me the Daniel Jones versus the field in that question?
No. Why would I give you the field?
That's not the question.
You can choose one fighter against Daniel Jones, fantasy points, and I'll pay for dinner in Philadelphia.
Marcus Mariota.
All right, I'll take Daniel
Nice.
Jones.
We haven't had a good dinner bet in a long time.
Yeah.
We're due
good
for
luck
one.
with Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
All right, Marcus Mariota versus
quarter.
Daniel Jones.
Good luck with after dinner. It'll be all over you.
All right, how about some deeper league targets?
Terrifying.
No more bunny references. Trevor Lawrence, he's got the Texans defense, so be careful with that one. But once again, you could be in a bit of a bind here. Justin Fields has the Browns defense, but you just hope that Fields runs a lot. And Garrett Wilson is slowly working his way back into hopefully playing. We'll see. And then your guy, Matthew, the guy you will ride or die with this week, Marcus Mariota.
Look, over the past 4 weeks, the Lions are allowing over 20 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. Mariota has been pretty good fantasy-wise. He runs a little bit as well. That defense is so bad. He's going to have to be in negative game script and throwing quite a bit. The hope here is Terry McLaurin is back as well. So it won't be pretty, and I don't think my Commanders win. But they're 8.5-point underdogs here. I think they're going to be throwing quite a bit. I think there'll be some junk time here for Mariota. The only question mark on Fields, and I agree with you, he's likely starting, but for whatever reason, Aaron Glenn won't commit to him as a starter because God forbid Justin Fields ever get a coach that just is like, you're the guy.
Yeah, it's here we go again.
Does Aaron Glenn think he works at the Pentagon? What's up with the secrecy? Just announce the quarterback.
You're 1-7.
Yeah.
You're 1-7, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, and you just won.
I know.
With Fields.
Exactly.
And Fields played a nice little part in that game. He had his best game since week 1.
Why not get this poor guy's been through the ringer all year? Why not give him like a little bit of little love?
I mean, I don't agree with this, but I guess what he's thinking is he wants teams to prepare for the rushing element of Fields and the pocket passing element of Tyrod. I'm just trying to get inside the mind of an Aaron Glenn.
I think teams when they face the Jets, they just prepare for winning. They just prepare to win the game.
As you should.
Exactly. Honestly, they should just prepare for who's going to be able to avoid Myles Garrett the best. That's what they should have. Which is Justin Fields. By the way, the Traveler by the way, is on that list. Since week 5, he's the 9th best quarterback in fantasy. It hasn't always been pretty. He's averaging over 21 fantasy points per game. It's been propped up by the rushing touchdowns. He gets Jakobi Meyers again. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Tough matchup against the Texans, but you're hoping for a little bit more of the rushing here, and you're hoping that the Trevor puts it together.
Yeah.
That Brian Thomas Jr. is a little bit healthier. Hopefully, you're hoping.
Huge Spider-Man meme game, Trevor Lawrence v. Geno Smith on the weekend. It's like, these guys are the same quarterback.
Yeah.
They're the same
really
quarterback. You're the younger version of me, Trevor.
I was literally going to do some version of that joke when we got into that trade, because I do think it's like, hey, Jakobi Meyers, we got great news. We got you away from Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Where am I going? Trevor Lawrence. I literally think it's that, right?
Yeah.
I just think like
Younger version.
Yeah, it's the same.
Better
it's
hair.
literally the same guy.
Yeah.
Better hair. Better hair, younger.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the running backs here and a couple big
Worst
names
town.
on
You'd
the
much rather
bye.
live in Vegas than Jacksonville. All due respect to the
I
lovely
will not
people of
comment.
Jacksonville.
I will not say ill of the fine city of Jacksonville.
I'm not saying anything bad about
You just
Jacksonville. I'm
did.
just saying it's not.
You just
I'm
made
just
it.
saying
You just compared it to a place and you said it's worse.
I'm saying it's not Las Vegas.
By
It
definition,
isn't.
It is not.
It is not.
All right, running backs. The running backs on a bye. Javonte Williams is obviously the most notable. Chase Brown's been better lately. And then Tony Pollard, Kareem Hunt, Tajay Spears, and Isaiah Pacheco as well. So we'll see if the Chiefs actually make a move today.
Yeah.
Backfield. That'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on.
But you've also got some injured guys. We don't know if we're getting Ramondre back. We don't know if we're getting Bucky Irving back. We don't know if we're getting Trey Benson back. So there's a chance that you still need a running back here.
And for that, we move to Devin Singletary, the man they call Motor. 95% available, and boy, did we talked a lot about Tyrone Tracy a week ago, but in this rushing offense, and I say that with quotes, it was Devin Singletary that got more of the work, Matthew.
He did. Again,
What did it amount to?
Right.
7 points.
It's the best of a bad lot here. Here's what you're hoping for with Devin Singletary, is that he continues the usage, right? He led the Giants in snap rate and touches in week number 9. 10 touches, 55% of the snaps. He was more effective than Tyrone Tracy. Low bar to clear, to be honest with you. But Singletary, more of a veteran presence. Maybe that's what Dayball wanted. And you like this matchup with Chicago.
Yes.
Right? They give up 5 yards per carry to running backs. That's 5th most in the NFL. They've given up at least 20 fantasy points to opposing backfields in 5 different games this year. And so I guess the hope here is, this is like a desperation flex. There's just not a lot out there on the waiver wire. I think the hope here is that he plays 60% of the snaps, has a shot at a touchdown, and gets you 70, 80 yards with a 60% chance at a score.
Yeah. He's like a rich man Tajay Spears. Right? Basically, it's like, all right, Devin Singletary, can he get us to 10 points? It's not a very inspiring number one option on the waiver wire, but at least, Jackson Dart is running a functional offense.
Yes.
And the bad elements of the offense, I think, are going to be more negative plays as opposed to them not being able to move the ball down the field. And because Dart's ability to extend plays and his rushing threat does make him complementary for running back efficiency. But yeah, Devin Singletary, hard to get too excited about it.
Connor, is there something you've noticed with Tyrone Tracy this year? Because I know you and I were both big fans of this guy coming out of college. We liked him a lot, obviously, in his rookie year, and he feels like a different guy.
I just think his effectiveness is as a third down pass catcher, right? And we talked about that when he was a rookie because he moved from wide receiver to running back late in his college career, and that's where he's comfortable. He's comfortable in space. And honestly, the Giants up front, Cam Skattebo hit a lot of their problems as a run offense because Cam Skattebo could just run through anyone's face. But the Giants, as a schemed offense from a rushing element, it's not a pretty watch all the time.
Yeah, the offensive line has obviously struggled here. Malcolm J says, is Tyrone Tracy droppable with that backfield being a committee now?
Possible.
Yes.
There's a good chance you have a better option, sadly.
Yeah. It depends on who else you're starting, depends on who else is in the waiver wire, the size of your league, but
rather have Devin Singletary.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's a crazy question, Malcolm J. I don't think there's probably, unless you're in a super deep league, there's probably not much of a trade market for him. So it's just,
right.
And if you're never going to start him, then he's just using a roster spot, right? Because he has no trade value, and you're not going to start him. So it's just all right, if somebody else grabs him, somebody else grabs him.
Here's the other thing too. It's not like he's an injury away. Devin Singletary gets hurt.
Right.
You can bring in a new Devin Singletary.
Probably.
It does feel that way.
It's weird.
He's had some fumble problems.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they don't trust him the way we hoped they would at some point.
Maybe just Dart doesn't like him either for whatever reason. Maybe they feel better with Singletary and pass production.
Matthew's starting rumors.
Big accusations on Jackson Dart.
Wow.
I'm
Jackson Dart
hates Tyrone Tracy.
I am trying to think of a
TMZ.
reason why with Tyrone Tracy, who came into the year as the starting running back, and then lost his job because Scadaboo was explosive. But now with Scadaboo done for the year, why Tracy wouldn't get the opportunity to be the lead back the way he was last year down the stretch, when he was much better than Singletary.
Yeah.
And so Devin Singletary, a year older, is now all of a sudden, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. And it's not like he was more effective than Tyrone Tracy, but it wasn't a Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle situation
Rico Dowdle.
where you're just like, well, sorry, but the backup's just so much better at this point. Like, we have to make the switch.
Yeah. It's like a Samaje Perine thing. Devin Singletary still is gnawing into someone else's value.
Aloha Bricks said you're the gossipler.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Step
Aloha
up from the
Bricks.
excuse
Trying
alert.
to turn men against each other.
Yes, exactly.
In Gotham.
That's what I do.
Unbelievable.
Connor doesn't like you.
Everyone's saying it.
Evidently.
That's just what I'm hearing around the water cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't like my Bengals AFC tickets.
He does not. He does not. He doesn't like the fact that you're in a hoodie. He stole his look. He was in a hoodie yesterday. He's in a hoodie today.
Yes.
He's been sort of the hoodie guy for a while.
It's true.
I've been complaining to upper management about this. No, I haven't heard back.
Bengals AFC, so close. Again, so close against the Bears. We almost had
So close.
the ticket to the Super Bowl.
Our waiver wired running back continues with another New York running back. Isaiah Davis is 86% available. He's got the Browns. A little bit of a tough rushing schedule here ahead because they got the Patriots on Thursday Night Football after that. But I think the key here is, guys, that his usage is going up. Obviously, Matthew, this would flip on its head if Breece Hall actually was moved today. But he's playing even with Breece Hall on the Jets right now.
He's played at least 40% of the snaps, 3 of the last 4 games. To your point, the Jets are actually 3rd in running back target share this year. They like to dump off to their running back. Davis is a nice pass catcher. He had 12 touches in his last game. He played 71% of the snaps. A game the Jets won. Again, so we're doing this at noon on Tuesday. The trade deadline is 4 o'clock later today. Breece Hall has been rumored to be on the move. So Isaiah Davis, a favorite of the Badlands podcast,
That's right,
would suddenly become the #1 priority on the waiver wire of all players, I think, if Breece Hall, after this show is done, if Breece Hall gets traded. But at the moment, we have him behind Devin Singletary because, in theory, Breece Hall will be the #1 back for the Jets on Sunday. Tough matchup, as you mentioned. Cleveland and Patriots in the next 2. Then at Baltimore, home to Atlanta, which is also a really good run defense. And so, well, actually, it's not really a good run defense. Sorry, it's a good pass defense in Atlanta. So the next 3 are a little bit tough, and then it gets a little bit easier. So,
You want to make a prediction, Connor?
On Breece?
Yeah.
Don't think he'll get moved.
Yeah.
If they got the day 2 pick they wanted, I think they would. I just don't think people pay that for rental running backs right now, no matter how good they are.
Yep.
So
I would agree.
But
it'd be nice to see him in Kansas City, though.
it would. That would be.
Yeah, that's the.
I'm
that's
done
the
watching
dream.
Kareem Hunt. I just can't.
Yeah, I
It's
think
no fun.
America is, even though we're not getting our wish.
Why wouldn't you if you're the Chiefs? Like, you've got this window. Kelsey's probably done after this year. Like,
I mean, I think they signaled with the Tyreek Hill trade years ago, like the window is kind of everlasting with Patrick Mahomes. Like,
Right.
the window's another 5-6 years with Patrick Mahomes. So they don't want to overcommit to just going all in for 1 year for a running back when they've been able to win. Like, who have been the running backs on these Chiefs title teams previously? Like, it's not like they've had Saquon Barkley on these teams. They've been getting it done with bit pieces.
But for like the 98th pick in this year's draft,
Sure.
I'd take half a year of Breece Hall.
Yeah.
If I was Kansas City.
Yeah, they need an element because they're facing light boxes and they can't do anything.
That's
So,
right.
Yeah, it's a problem.
yeah, a late second, I think. Anyway, but we're not running the Chiefs. We are running this show, so let's talk about some of the other guys that are available if you're in a deeper league and you're like, Isaiah Davis hasn't been available in my league in 3 weeks. Not in my league, if you're one of those guys, which we get because there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
So here's some guys that are available in a lot more leagues.
Bhayshul Tuten,
Yep.
he's got that tough Texans defense, but he's been getting more work,
Yep.
Bhayshul Tuten.
Had 10 touches, had
Right.
a touchdown at the end of the game as well. How about Blake Corum over the last 2 games? 35% of the Rams' touches. Of course, we know Kyren Williams, always a risk to get an injury. We haven't heard a lot about Saquon Barkley's injury. They're off the bye. But, there's a chance that Saquon, who's been injured previously, who left his last game a little bit early, Tank Bigsby needs to be rostered in 100% of leagues because there's somebody out there that has Saquon in every single league. How about Sean Tucker, who's starting to get a little bit more of a role? We don't know about the return date of Bucky Irving yet, so if Irving comes back this week, it's sort of moot. But felt like Tucker was getting a bigger workload last time we saw him before the bye. 38% of Tampa's running back touches and team running back touches, I should say, in Week 8. And then finally, Terrell Jennings. Like
Terrell Jennings.
We were keep hoping for Travion Henderson to sort of bust through, and he did get a bigger workload. But Terrell Jennings got the touchdown. He got half of the team's red zone rushes last week, 12 touches for the Patriots, for this red-hot Patriots team.
One of the great Madden creator player names, Terrell Jennings.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about before he was getting red zone touches against the Falcons.
But we don't know the timetable for Ramondre Stevenson's return either.
All right, let's go to wide receivers, and the bye week list for wide receivers is significant here. Rashid Rice, Jamar Chase, both Cowboys and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, and then, of course, pass catchers in general with tight ends Jake Ferguson, Travis Kelce, Noah Fant. This is a brutal pass catcher bye week.
Yes, sir.
By far.
It really is. So you might be looking for some people here. And look, the wide receiver room in Jacksonville just got a little bit more crowded with the trade of Jakobi Meyers. But we do like Parker Washington. We talked about him last week with the injury to Travis Hunter. We'll see if and when he comes back. I've seen differing reports. The trade of Meyers makes you think that the Hunter injury is more serious than perhaps they're letting on as well. But here's Parker Washington last week. It wasn't just all, obviously there's a lot of slot stuff lining up in the slot, but like doing different things there in the middle. 27% target share last week for Parker Washington, ran 90% of the routes. He was 6th among wide receivers in utilization score in Week 9, of course. His score was 88, utilization score, of course, over at fantasylife.com. Our friend Dwayne McFarland puts it together. It's an easy number to understand, not just their utilization, but what it means going forward. And in his career, when he sees at least a 15% target share, he's averaging over 13 fantasy points per game. Good game last week. It's going to take a while for Meyers to sort of get up to speed. I'm sure he'll be out there this week, but it'll take a little while. BTJ doesn't seem 100%.
And he hasn't been great this year.
No.
Like, they just seem lower on him than you'd expect.
And Diami Brown isn't Diami Brown in the concussion protocol?
Yep.
I believe that's
so
right.
They have a lot of injuries and question marks.
Yep. Parker Washington also finally broke the Sunday pickup lines curse, going over 3.5 receptions. It's a bad curse on Sunday. It hasn't affected Fridays yet.
I've heard rumors of it, but I haven't asked.
Fridays is okay. Sunday's been a curse. But Parker Washington is the curse breaker. And look, Houston's defense is obviously very imposing.
And I chose that one. That was the one I chose.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Well done by you.
Yeah,
Take that,
yes,
Lawrence. Not sure if his bet won or not.
Sorry.
But it's a difficult matchup against Houston. At the same time, I don't think this Texans defense is quite the level of imposing that it was towards the end of last season, particularly in the playoffs against the Chargers. So that game is expected to be close. The Jags 1.5-point dogs there. So Parker Washington should get plenty of work as Jakobi Meyers gets up to speed. Also, Jakobi Meyers, it's hard to assess. I mean, he hasn't had a great season. Is that because he's been kind of checked out, waiting to get traded, or is he not the same player that he was? Lean the former, but we still need to see it with Jakobi Meyers.
Yeah, and by the way, it's a bad offense. I mean, prior to last week, Brock Bowers hadn't done much in this offense. Like Ashton Genty, who everyone said was like this can't-miss, not since Saquon Barkley running back. Hasn't.
Both rookie wide receivers. We haven't seen Jack Bech, Horton. We've seen really nothing from the offense.
The offense has been broken, and to your point, I don't think Meyers has been 100% healthy all year. He's definitely checked out. He literally demanded a trade. He said no. He publicly said, "I want out." And so,
and then was asked to follow up, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll leave."
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Right. Good news. You're going to Geno East, in the Traveler. But so I do think look, he runs. Jakobi Meyers obviously plays a lot in the slot, but he can play both sides. I don't think they're going to want Parker Washington to move outside. So I do think Jakobi Meyers moves to the outside here, but I think they'll try to be creative with him. It'll take him a little while to get up to speed, but whatever Jakobi Meyers' value was in Las Vegas, I think it's more here in Jacksonville. I think there's more opportunity. I think there's a chance that we don't see Travis Hunter again this year. Again, we don't know. I've seen reports like, it's not that bad. And then you're like, well, but you just but we still think it's a pass-first offense. And we like Jakobi Meyers' talent. I think it's just been sort of a lost season here. So I think Jakobi Meyers in Jacksonville, maybe not necessarily this week, certainly getting Houston in its first week there. But I do think over the next couple of weeks, Jakobi Meyers can be the guy that he was sort of drafted to be, which is kind of a top 25-ish wide receiver in that 20 to 30 range, a wide receiver 3.
Our next wide receiver here, guys, Tory Horton. How about Tory Horton, 95% available? Cooper Kupp goes down. Tory Horton, all he does is catch touchdowns. We got to hear from Tory Horton on his mentorship from Jackson Smith and Jigba.
It's a lot of his game that I try to, watch and take just piece by piece from it, on how he, maneuver through routes and, get separation and, just his run after catch ability. That's something that you can always learn from. And, even with Coop, just how his mentality on the game and how he maneuvered through things like that. So I'm truly blessed to be behind those guys. And, I pick their brain whenever I get a chance.
Tory Horton with a big game against the Commanders, almost a 17% target share. Obviously, the 2 touchdowns is what matters. Matthew is he's actually available in most leagues.
95% available. You know what league he's not available in? Ours.
Of course. It's nothing.
Nothing's available in
Literally.
our league.
It's always Alan Lazard. That's what you get every week when you scroll the point projections.
Exactly. It's always
Alan Lazard.
It's always Alan Lazard. Luckily, I do have him in our league, so he will be starting this week against the Chubby Leather Daddies. We're playing each other this week.
What's the spread on
by the
that
way,
game?
45. He's like a 45-point favorite.
You've been better lately.
Yeah, well, I've been better lately, but Jaden, I will see. He should probably kill me.
No,
but
Jaden, if Drake May and Matthew Stafford.
I do have those two.
You'd be benching him anyway.
I know Xavier Worthy. I have no Xavier Worthy.
Right, he sucks.
I know.
He did nothing against the Bills.
I know. My team isn't good. But anyway, no Chase Brown.
I just lost Tucker Kraft for the year.
But you have Brock Bowers.
That's ridiculous. Tight end stack.
Sure. Yeah.
The old Tucker Kraft, Brock Bowers
Maybe
stack.
I've got Trey McBride lying around there
Probably.
somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, good. No, it's good. I have my 3 superstars, JSN, Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers. None on bye. Yeah, we'll stomp you guys.
I
We'll
agree.
stomp you.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're a
It's gonna be
45-point
A
favorite.
chubby stomping.
Yes, exactly. I will be your leather son. But here's what I will say about Tory
Leather
Horton.
bunny.
Yeah, anyway, Tory Horton will be playing against you, but he is available in 95% of leagues. And in the 2 games in which he's seen at least a 15% target share, he scored at least 18 fantasy points. He looks the part. More than anything else, like we just talked about Sam Darnold, we like this offense. We like the fact that Sam Darnold's not afraid to throw deep. Obviously, you have to send a lot of defensive pressure and attention to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and that's just opening up stuff for Tory Horton, they use him on special teams, and because Cooper Kupp's there, he hasn't been able to get into a full-time role. But with Cooper Kupp out on Sunday night, he got a full-time role. He produced in a big way. I don't know that Cooper Kupp is coming back this week, but either way, Tory Horton has earned a larger role in this offense.
Right, that's the most important thing is even if Cooper Kupp comes back, why would you take Tory Horton off the field? He gives you a down-the-field speed element. He's good at tracking the ball. I mean, they've really opened things up with him. Yeah. So it's a barren week on wide receiver waivers. This would be a guy I would target for sure. We got a question here from Aloha Bricks, who's always out there watching. Tory Horton or Troy Franklin for the rest of the season?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one.
That's a really good one.
I would watch and see what the Broncos do today. There's a chance the Broncos make a move today, and if they do, then the answer is Tory Horton.
Yeah, I think the answer might be Tory Horton anyway, just because when Marvin Mims comes back, I think it's Troy Franklin is their number 2, but then, they Marvin Mims, and then they're doing wheel routes with R.J. Harvey.
Right, and they're not a fun watch for the first 3 quarters of the game. So
it always feels like it's Cortland Sutton, and then there's kind of this group, and of that group, you prefer Troy Franklin to sort of the other guys, to the Pat Bryants and the Marvin Mims of the world. But I think there's a chance. I guess what I would say is I think they're both big play guys. They're both talented. But I prefer the target competition that Tory Horton has, which is not much, compared to Troy Franklin, which is a lot.
Right.
I think Horton has the lesser target competition.
Also prefer Horton's quarterback.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's also fair.
Our
next answer, there you go, Aloha Bricks.
Our next wide receiver, Alec Pierce here, Jay, the always underappreciated Alec Pierce. 74% available surprises me. He's been the vertical threat in this very good Colts offense.
How do you feel about it being 74% available? Because you've been ringing the bell on Alec Pierce all season long.
I feel like I'm not respected in this fine nation. But Alec Pierce, that 74% is about to go down because he's no longer just, as we've spoken about, he's no longer just a deep ball threat. He's no longer a poor man's Rashid Shaheed. He's actually a guy who's developed more sophistication to his route tree. He's able to earn 13 targets against the Steelers. That's his second double-digit target game in the past 3 weeks. Goes for 115 yards. And Danny Dimes left some dimes on the table in that game. He missed Alec Pierce wide open for what would have been a 40, 50-yarder as well. So, look, Alec Pierce, Pittman's the guy you want in the passing game in terms of the wide receivers. But Alec Pierce, I think, has now moved above Josh Downs as the clear number 2 guy. And I think there will be weeks, certainly, where he exceeds Pittman.
I think he's the number 3 in that passing offense behind
Sure.
Tyler Warren as well.
Yeah, well,
and they're
Warren
run heavy
sneakily-
with Jonathan Taylor. But I agree with you. Pierce needs to be rostered more. We like his talent.
Yeah, Tyler Warren also, he doesn't have he hasn't had monster games. He hasn't had a 100-yard
Kind
game.
of just been steady Eddie all year.
He's just pencil him in 5 for 60 every week, Tyler Warren.
With a shot at a touchdown here.
Yeah.
All right, our deeper league targets. Speaking of Troy Franklin, he's got the Raiders in week 10, 52% available. So there's a chance he's out there for you. He meets our threshold. Christian Watson, who is the ultimate deep ball merchant right now, which that is a good thing in the Packers offense where Jordan Love is always looking to throw the ball down the field. He's got the Eagles. Darius Slayton, just because of the usage in the Giants offense, they're really running out of bodies on that in the skill group. Tez Johnson as a potential flex here, Matthew, and then we'll see if Jack Bech ever actually does play for the Raiders now that they moved out Jakobi Meyers.
Yeah, I mean, Tez Johnson, since week 5, he's averaging over 11 fantasy points per game. We've talked about Watson, in terms of running the deep routes. Troy Franklin has 28 targets over the last 3 weeks. I mean, again, you still prefer Cortland Sutton there, but it does feel like he's established himself as a step above the remaining wide receiver by committee there in Denver.
All right, if you need help at tight end, we start with the man of the weekend or the play of the weekend, Coleston Loveland, 76% available. He obviously catches the game-winning touchdown, but just the usage before that, Matthew, was so encouraging to see him involved in the game. He's got the Giants defense this week.
Yeah, which you certainly like. 4 straight weeks with a red zone target and an end zone target in 2 straight. So Caleb Williams starting to look at him when they get a little bit closer. Last 2 weeks, he's a 76% route participation. Cole Kmet left the game last week in the concussion protocol. Obviously, if Kmet is out, you certainly like Loveland's opportunity even more. But, he was out there a ton last week with Kmet out. 97 utilization score. Only Brock Bowers had a higher one. You also see he was second behind Brock Bowers in terms of fantasy points last week. Now, a lot of that was kind of lifted up by that crazy long play at the end with the missed tackles. But
Made a good day into an elite day is what I would say.
I agree with that. And you're not scared of this Giants defense. By the way, at Minnesota, home to Pittsburgh, which is usually a really good matchup for tight ends. So we do think Loveland, similar to Tory Horton, has to have earned a bigger role in this offense moving forward.
Definitely. I think as well, a lot of Chicago's pass game production has been suppressed because they had that 4-game winning streak where a couple of those games Caleb really didn't have to do much at all. The Bears are a fine team. They're not a great team, though, and they should have to be in more throw scripts going forward, which will benefit Coleston Loveland.
Our next tight end, Harold Fannin Jr., he's 57% available despite having a really, really strong rookie season. He might be buried in your league because he's coming off the bye here, Matthew, and tight ends have been very good against the Jets this year.
They have been. They've allowed 20 fantasy points. The Jets now. The Jets have allowed 20 fantasy points to opposing tight ends in 3 of their last 5 games. Since week 5, Harold Fannin is the 10th best tight end. Be interested to see, by the way, if David Njoku goes on the move by 4 o'clock today. He's been rumored to be out there.
Pretty likely.
Yeah.
He's on an expiring deal. He's been banged up. They want to funnel targets to Fannin.
Yeah. So, by the way, so I will just say this. If Njoku does get dealt Fannin, I would move Fannin above Loveland. I'd feel better about his I'd feel better about his role moving forward. It does seem like there's a connection between him and Dylan Gabriel, probably because, by the way, Dylan Gabriel can, throw past 10 yards, which is, kind of Fannin's route tree.
Yes.
He
fits the mold of what they do schematically right now. So.
By the way, just real quickly, as long as we're talking Browns, it didn't make this on the others receiving votes that we were just talking about with the wide receivers, but Club Set is back open. Club Set is back open.
Remodeled.
Exactly. And just so Cedric Tillman is not 100% rostered, worth seeing if he was dropped in your league. Because
I agree.
He would be my favorite of all these guys. I'd prefer him over Parker Washington. I'd prefer him over Tory Horton. I get that Dylan Gabriel hasn't been great, but I just love Cedric Tillman. I know you do as well.
And what if there's a world where the last 5 weeks of the season we see Shadur Sanders, who will throw the ball down the field to his wide receivers? I'm just saying, there's a world where you're in the fantasy playoffs, you're desperate in the flex spot, or you're trying to make the playoffs, and Club Said could be, there's a chance he's usable.
Yeah. So check to see his availability in your league as well. Some of the other tight ends that are out there. How about Dalton Schultz, who is, he's a tight end. He qualifies as a tight end. He has been, a target for C.J. Stroud recently, 11 fantasy points or more in 3 of the last 4 games. How about Cade, Otton, who since week 5's had almost a 20% target share. Juwan Johnson is the new Hunter Henry. He's on this list every single week, but 3 straight games with double-digit fantasy points. The one thing that Tyler Shuck was able to do last week was get the ball to Juwan Johnson. For the past 5 weeks, Theo Johnson's had at least an 18% target share, and the new Tucker Kraft in Green Bay is Luke Musgrave, who's available in 99% of the leagues. Packers 7th in the NFL in tight end target share. Now, obviously, that is influenced by Tucker Kraft, but there was a scenario when these guys came out of college. Luke Musgrave was considered the better prospect.
He was taking over him.
Yes, he was drafted ahead of
Some
Tucker
people
Kraft.
had it ranked the correct way.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But they drafted it, and it doesn't matter. It all worked out the same.
They
got Tucker Kraft, too.
Luke Musgrave, first rounder?
No, second round.
Second rounder.
And then they took Kraft in the 4th.
Right, and you had Kraft over Musgrave in your pre-draft rankings. But either way, right, again, the Packers at one point valued Musgrave over Tucker. And like just because he wasn't able to beat out Tucker Kraft, who's been phenomenal since he got the starting job, like Luke Musgrave has talent. Like I remember his rookie year, me saying like Luke Musgrave's going to be a thing at some point this year. Never wrong, just early. And so
Until they traded for David Njoku today.
Yes, exactly. Never wrong, just early. Musgrave, it only took 2.5 years, but I do think he's really good after the catch. In a different way that Tucker Kraft is. Tucker Kraft is more physical.
Yes.
Musgrave is more speedy.
Yep.
But I do think they both have that ability once they get the ball in their hands and they're in space to make some hay with it.
And it's just a huge part of LaFleur's offense. Like that's it, even though Tucker Kraft is gone, that role will remain. There's upside for Musgrave, and the good thing is that he's young enough that there's still talent ceiling there. It's not a Dalton Schultz operation.
All right, if you need a defense, real quickly, the Browns against the Jets, 67% available. The Bills against the Dolphins, 57% available. The Panthers against Tyler Shuck's Saints, that's 97% available. The other way around, the Jets against Dylan Gabriel and the Browns, and the Bucs against the Patriots. We're going to take our first break.
Depending on your needs, like if you didn't have a significant position need and you play in a league with a defense, the Browns might be my #1 waiver claim. Going up against
with
the
how
Jets.
bad the skill options are.
Right.
Definitely a chance.
Yeah.
And they're only 67% available.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, we'll be back right after this.
What did Marv do to create opportunities early and often for you to find them?
Put his pads on, showed up. I mean, once he got off the bus, I knew it was going to be open. You know, we knew we were going to get our chances outside, and you know, and he, you know, this has been building for him. You know, and it's still a step in the right direction. But you know, you saw it in his eyes when he got off the bus and we were in the locker room, and I'm like, coach told me what the first couple of plays were, and he was like, we're going to switch it up, and we're going to do this for Marvin. I'm like, all right. And, I think I threw it to him 4 times in a row on the first drive, and I was like, I think I'm going to do this the whole game.
That was Jacoby Brissett on Marvin Harrison Jr. and his big night, as those are the 2 leaderboards amongst the notable fantasy performances in this game. Trey McBride third. No Cowboy on this list until CeeDee Lamb at 4th with just 15.5 points.
Yeah, look, and great game from Marvin Harrison Jr. 34% target share. It's only his 2nd game this year with a target share above 21%. It's only his 3rd game with 70 or more receiving yards. And I think, Jacoby said he knew it as soon as he put on the pads. I knew it as soon as I saw Marvin Harrison Sr.'s tweet. Right? So here you go at Sleeper AZ Cardinals, quote, "What I do know is you can put Marvin Harrison Sr. in my prime in Arizona right now, and guess what happened? Canton, Ohio is going to send me a prepaid envelope and say, could you please send that jacket back?" That's via Josh Weinfuss, who covers the Cardinals for ESPN. So, yeah, Marvin Harrison Sr. drinks free because as soon as I saw that quote.
Oh, it was after our show, too?
Yeah.
Which I think we would have hammered all the MSG.
We would have said Harrison on the over give me the over every single prop.
One of the great Indianapolis Colts. I remember as a young boy growing up in Indianapolis. Yeah, watching the great MHJ Senior. But no, look, the funny thing is okay, MHJ is now broken out. He looked fantastic. He's probably going to get a new quarterback next week. And so what does he look like with Kyler Murray? Because the connection there is clearly is with Jacoby Brissett, but we haven't seen it with Kyler to nearly the same extent.
I'm not convinced, by the way, that he does get a new quarterback next week. I will say 2 things. So they said on the game broadcast, so Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were saying on the game broadcast that, they may not go to Kyler. Again, game broadcasters will talk to each of the coaches, and they sort of are couched in what they say. But reading between the lines, it felt like to me, again, I have no inside information. I'm just going off of what I heard Joe and Troy say on the air last night. It sounded like they were basically saying, Gannon kind of hinted that, he's not married to Kyler Murray. I will also say that our friend and colleague Mike Florio on Football Night in America on Sunday said, don't be surprised if Kyler Murray gets moved this offseason. So if they don't think Kyler Murray is definitely part of their plans for the future, and Jacoby Brissett looked awesome last night, by the way, had over 100 yards passing in each half. That cashed. Thank you very much. Then I think there's a scenario where, if you're Jonathan Gannon, why would you go back to Kyler Murray?
Well, because you paid him a lot of money. And I still think there's more upside.
He didn't pay him a lot of money.
Yeah, there's still more upside in Kyler than Jacoby Brissett in terms of the long term. They took him first overall. The other thing, too, is that if you announce that Jacoby Brissett is your starter going forward, well, next week they play the Seahawks in Seattle. So I'm not sure that's going to be a great setup. I think if you wanted to move on from Kyler Murray, you almost want to bring Kyler back for this game against the Seahawks. But we'll see. I mean, Gannon has been fairly steadfast in saying that Kyler is the starter when he's healthy. He's just not healthy at the moment. But, yeah, it is a little strange that this is – I mean, there was rumors that Kyler's going to be back 3 weeks ago. It's kind of like J.J. McCarthy, Arizona style.
Right, where each week it changes a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying, by the way, if Jacoby Brissett's out there in your league and you need a quarterback, I wouldn't mind just grabbing him and just to see, because, again, we've seen this, he's going to be aggressive throwing the ball. They have some nice weapons, obviously, in Harrison and McBride. And so I'm just saying, I think there's a non-zero chance that Kyler Murray is healthy next week, but not the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. One thing I do know for sure, Connor Rogers, is that whoever is starting in the secondary for the Jets next week, it's not going to be Sauce Gardner.
The Colts.
Your Colts.
Your
Colts.
Sure.
2 first-round picks.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Adam Schefter says Colts are trading 2 first-round picks to the Jets for cornerback Sauce Gardner. Massive move on trade deadline day.
So, Connor, obviously not a ton of fantasy impact, but you are the host of Badlands, the second best Jets podcast in all the land. We'll get Lawrence and I will get an episode of Worstlands out later.
You got to get going.
This. Yeah,
really, people are waiting.
People are waiting. But
I'm excited for your guys' take.
I'm just curious. You are the ultimate Jets insider,
pretty big,
of course.
Pretty big.
That's a shocker.
A little bit, because he just signed the extension over the summer. Yeah. My take is on this. You take the 2 first-round picks because the Jets are going to be drafting a quarterback in the spring. and you need assets to build around that player. And it costs to get those assets. Sauce Gardner is a really good player. I know he takes a lot of weird flack on social media for being grabby. This is a great move for the Colts. They've been bad at cornerback. Sauce Gardner is one of the premier corners in the league, and I think this signals that the Jets are like they're not going to. I don't think they're going to trade Garrett Wilson or anyone like that. But they are trying to build the infrastructure for a rookie quarterback, and they could use these 2 first-round picks to do that.
The crazy thing is that the Colts go from this diabolical corner situation. When Charvarius Ward gets off IR, all of a sudden you got Charvarius Ward and Sauce Gardner on the outside and Kenny Moore as the slot corner. It's like the best corner room in the league.
It's an all-in move from the Colts, which now's the time with Jonathan Taylor, and this season you're getting from Daniel Jones.
I love
and
it.
Chris Ballard's been waiting a long time to build a winner there. And for the Jets, this is a little bit of a signal of like, hey, Aaron Glenn came in and said, we're going to win now. This is a signal like, no, we're going to rebuild it.
Now you wonder, does this mean more likely that Breece Hall is on the move?
What's the fallout effect? I don't think Garrett Wilson is moved. Because once again, they're trying to build an infrastructure for a future quarterback. But I don't think a lot of things are off the table now when you do this move. Quentin Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, because he's on an expiring.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's the line?
Yeah.
There is none when you make this move.
When you make 1,000% when you make this kind of move. By the way, Cedric Tillman suddenly becomes very interesting this week with no Sauce Gardner. You know, already.
We can't get away from it.
Everything comes back to Cedric Tillman.
Everything always comes back.
Colts are winning the Super Bowl.
Everything comes back to Cedric Tillman. By the way, just got another alert. The Saints are sending wide receiver Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks.
Goodness.
Well,
this is from Tom Pelissero.
See you later, Tory.
Tory Horton segment's done. Thanks.
Hang on.
We'll edit it out.
Is it Tory Horton or is it Cooper Kupp? Now I understand Horton is a deep threat and Shaheed is much closer, but could Kupp be more injured than we think?
Man, this is great for Sam Darnold. Wow.
You know, but yes, it's another kind of all-in move. I will tell you, I actually think this hurts Shaheed's fantasy value. It's probably mostly neutral, just less targets. Not because now he's competing. Now he's competing with JSN.
Right? 38% target share.
Right, and who is as much as we like Chris Olave, he's not Jackson Smith and Jigba this year.
He's been the best wide receiver in football.
That's right. And so he goes to a better quarterback in a better offensive environment. By the way, I'm doing this all in my head. Clint Kubiak, right?
Yes.
Clint Kubiak, currently offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks, obviously was the offensive coordinator in New Orleans, so obviously familiar with Shaheed. The other thing is Shaheed plays special teams, and so does Tory Horton. So the move is to free one of them up. You know what I mean? Like
you get a trickle effect.
Right, exactly. I can
use
use Horton more because I can now bring in Shaheed to play some special teams, or hey, I can now really utilize Shaheed because I've got Horton. It's interesting to see how it all plays out. I think either way, if you have Shaheed, you prefer the move to Sam Darnold and Seahawks than the Saints, even though maybe less target share, but probably more effective.
I think the main thing is just like Tory Horton's now less attractive as a pick.
Sure. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take one last break. It's going to be a crazy day for the NFL trade deadline, clearly. When we're back, we're looking at our early week bets. Last call right after this. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use promo code FFHH when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
The crown is yours.
The crown is yours.
Early line alert for last call as we look at the opening totals and sides. Jay, what do you have your eye on?
Taking the Raiders plus 9.5 against the Broncos. It's a lot of points when you look how competent they looked on the weekend against the Jags. Brock Bowers looked magnificent.
All right, I'm going with the Ravens, minus 3.5 against the Vikings. You said earlier, Matthew, their defense is getting healthy. I think that's been quietly building now. Yep. Lamar's back. I don't know if the Vikings can keep pace with their offense in this game. 3.5, I'll take the line.
I'll take the Lions minus 8.5. Like, we've given up. Like, last week was the week to show up and say something, and now they've lost Jaden Daniels. Lions angry after a bad loss. They're going to go off. Give me 8.5. Hey, for Jay and Connor, I'm Matthew. Got to go home. Peace out.